people of all planty pronouns, it's Krista with Botanical Bird, and this week I want to talk about Dracaena plants. So I feel like Dracaena are a wonderful genus to talk about because I'm afraid to say that they're easy care, low maintenance, because I feel like that puts us into categories of plant parents, but I personally find them relatively easy to care for, and they don't require a whole lot in the way of light and water, and so I feel like they're ideal for lots and lots of people regardless of the environment in your living space. Another thing I love about Dracaena is the leaf shape that they have. Generally, their leaves are kind of long and slender, and that's not always what I think of when I think of plants, and so I kind of like that they are a little bit different than other plants I might have. Okay, so getting into the care for Dracaena plants, generally, like every species is kind of a little bit different within a genus, but in general, you can kind of look at the care that that genus requires and you'll be okay for the most part. So usually for light, they are tolerant of low to medium light. That does not always mean that they love low light. I do not recommend sticking them in a place without any windows, but they will fare a lot better in low light than other plants. And because they are okay with lower light, generally that means that they require less water. So you're gonna want the soil to dry out completely before you water again, which kind of, I feel, also makes it easier, like you're watering them less frequently. As far as humidity goes, when I look it up, Google tells me that Dracaena are okay with household humidity, but that they prefer higher humidity. But I personally have found, or I think, that they don't really like higher humidity. I've had a couple of Dracaena die on me, and it could be because of increased humidity. Maybe it was something else. I could have overwatered them. But I feel that my Dracaena do best when they aren't in a room with a humidifier or when I don't have them on a humidity tray. So my personal recommendation is not to try to increase the humidity in their space, but according to Le Google, it's okay to do that. As far as fertilizing goes, in their growing season, which for most tropical plants is spring to summer, you can fertilize them once a month with a quarter strength. So if you're using water-soluble fertilizer or just liquid fertilizer, I would cut it to a quarter of what it actually recommends. All right, and now to show you the Dracaena that I have. I truly only have a few right now. I've had a couple of other different Dracaena plants, but they have died, as I mentioned, which is possibly due to overwatering, but sometimes I'm not always sure. But the ones I'll show you today are thriving. First up is the Dracaena reflexa, also known as the Song of India. This is a replacement plant for me. I had one before and it was losing a lot of leaves. I think it might have had a pest or possibly too much light because it was at my boyfriend's house at the time and they had really great light there. But I really like it because of the yellow outlining on the leaves. I feel like that's not something that you can find in a lot of plants. So I am a really big fan of this one. I think I got this from a big box store like Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm not sure which one because they seem the same to me, but I believe I got it from there. Next, I have this Dracaena marginata, and I have had this, I think this was one of my very first Dracaena, and it is still with us, friends. It was braided before, I think, and so I unbraided it, and then I have it on these bamboo stakes to prevent it from kind of flopping out. Can you see Lito's getting really interested down there in the corner? You will not be eating this, friend. So this is one of my OG plants. I think it was recently taking a turn for the worse. I was guessing, as I mentioned before, that it could have been because I was giving it too much humidity. It was right by a humidifier, and it was also in a corner with an eastern and northern window, but neither of those get very bright light. So I moved it into a room that's several feet back from a window that I think gets like western light or something, but it's far back, so it doesn't get any direct light, but it seems to be thriving once again. So I am really happy. I feel like Dracaena often look like they have messy hair, and that just is my love language because I frequently have messy hair too, and so I like that look that they give. And last is my Dracaena compacta Janet Craig. I'm just gonna put a picture of her here because she is very tall and she wouldn't fit in the frame. But I have long wondered why it has the name Janet Craig. So I once again consulted Le Google and found out that she was named after it's called a nurseryman someone who worked or owned a nursery. His name was Robert Craig, and he named it after his daughter, Janet Craig. And I thought for a long time that the plant's name was the same thing as Jenny Craig, and I was like, how can there be a connection between like a weight loss program and a plant? But it's because they have different names. I was wondering, like, why is no one else really confused by this? And it was just me. She's also one of my OG plants, and she is definitely worse for wear than the marginata. You can see that she has a lot of brown tips, and I've actually cut a lot of leaves and removed a lot of leaves that get really crispy. So that could actually be an instance of needing to be in a higher humidity area or possibly underwatering. With a lot of my plants, I'm worried about overwatering them. Pretty much anything but calathea, because I'm like, I can't overwater those. Generally, you totally still can. But for all of my other plants, I err on the side of watering less, and so that could totally be what's going on with her. But she's still around, so I'm really happy. She also has been staked to try to help her get rid of her lean. She's kind of rocking a little like lean, you know, but regardless, she's doing relatively well. Technically, plants that were previously classified as Sansevieria have been reclassified as Dracaena, so I could show you them, but I mean, I kind of just have a couple of different types of Sansevieria, and I don't know. I feel like sticking with the old school original Dracaena for this video. So if you have other Dracaena that you really love, feel free to put them in the comments below, or if you have any other questions about the plants that I specifically showed today. So if you liked this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Botanical Bird, and bird has a U in it, not an I. Follow my planty Instagram, which is at botanical_bird, and feel free to check out our website, which is botanicalbird.com. And remember, we're rooting for you. Bye.